Hello and welcome to A Cup of Tea with Dr. Zee, where we share everyday stories with you, everyday women. Are you ready to hear heart-to-heart key issues that we all face, no matter where we are in the world? So grab your cup of tea and let's welcome your host, author, international speaker, reinvention strategist, and woman that's full of faith in God and mankind, Dr. Zena Arinzi.
Hello, and welcome. My name is Dr. Z, and welcome to A Cup of Tea with me, Dr. Z. Welcome. Today is episode 14 of this amazing, powerful podcast where I spotlight everyday women from all over the world. So I might be coming into your house or your country or your town, so keep an eye out. It might be you next. But I spotlight amazing, phenomenal, everyday women all over the world who are doing extraordinary things. And you might be saying, and I have extraordinary stories as well. You might be saying, well, I'm not extraordinary. I don't do wonderful things. But I can tell you, I can assure you that what you may be belittling or looking down on is absolutely a phenomenal thing that you are doing in your sphere of influence, in your part of the world. Today, I have an amazing, phenomenal, incredible, extraordinary guest. And when I first met this guest, we fell in love immediately. Quite a few years back now. If I tell you what, when I bring her on, I'll tell you what our mutual is. But before I go into that, I just want to share again why I do this. There are so many of us all over the world that never have the opportunity to be heard, people that might be hidden, people might think, you might be a woman and you're thinking, well, no one knows my story or understands what I'm going through. But my belief and plan and vision for this podcast is so that people, through my guests, will see themselves. They will say, oh, if this woman can do it, so can I. If this woman can do it, so can I. Oh, her story is like mine. Oh, my situation is not that bad after all. I can move forward. I can empower someone else. I can be an everyday woman, but I am powerful beyond measure. And so, this is not, yes, you all know I'm an international speaker, I'm a coach, but this particular thing is a passion project where I know that there are so many people who no one will ever hear. And when you hear the stories on this podcast, you'll begin to recognize yourself. Hopefully some stories will resonate with you. Tips and strategies will help you move forward. You will see yourself in many of my guests. And above all, it's a safe place where you can listen, you can share questions, you can wave, you can also have a cup of tea with me. Whatever it is that keeps you happy and focused. Let's face it, the world we live in right now is full of doom and gloom. And so you have to be so intentional about moving above that, not allowing the situation in your external world to affect your internal world. More especially if you happen to be a woman of God, you know that you have been called to shine your light, even where there's darkness, even when you're going through all sorts of diverse trials. You need to shine your light so that someone else can find their way out. Your story, your situation may not be for you. It may be harrowing, it may not, but it may not be for you. It'll be for someone else. It could be in Canada, it could be in Iceland, it could be in Nigeria, Jamaica, Afghanistan, India, Pakistan. It could be anywhere. But I just want to make sure that as many women before I die get to know that they are seen, they are heard, they are listened to, and they are valued. And I want you to know that you are enough. Now, that's enough about me and why I do this. Today, we are going to be talking about fear. And my question to you listening right now, you listening live, whether you're listening on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, or whether you're just in the studio with me, or if you're going to listen on the replay. My question to you, yes, you. I'm not even apologizing for pointing. I'm pointing to you. My question to you is, are you afraid of fear? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my amazing, phenomenal guest. Her name is Alison McLeod. She's Canadian. You would think she's Scottish, but she'll tell you a little bit about her background. So I'm just going to quickly read a little bit about her. Now, Alison McLeod, CHC, which stands for Certified Holistic Coach, so she does the whole shebang, is an international best-selling author, speaker, serial entrepreneur, podcast host, and human potential specialist, certified in health, life, and business. She has a degree from Algoma University in community economics and social development. As the founder and CEO, Alison McLeod Coaching, she helps women uncover their true identity and embody their purpose to create a legacy and impact in the world. They refocus, they gain clarity, and learn to live in their full soul expression as God intended. Hallelujah. Take us to church, Alison. Alison's inspirational podcast, magazine, and TV show is called Soul Expression Sessions, and is hosted on the Wealthy Women's Entrepreneurial Network, which I think is in Canada. She has been featured in magazines, has won a recent Powerhouse Global Leadership Award for her contribution to empowering and supporting women worldwide. But above all, just like you listening right now or on the replay, she's an everyday woman. And without further ado, I'm going to bring this amazing, phenomenal, incredible guest into the green room. Welcome, 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 welcome.
Having my tea.
Oh, you got your tea as well. Excellent, excellent. I've got Earl Grey today.
Nice.
A little bit dainty. This is actually an espresso cup, but I just like it because it's dainty. So for those tea connoisseurs, please don't kill me. I just like the cup. Oh, it's a bit hot. Sorry. Careful. Alison, welcome, welcome, welcome. What time is it in Ontario right now?
It is almost 2:10 in the afternoon on Friday.
Oh, fantastic. So your time is similar to Eastern time in New York and New Jersey and all that. Oh, fantastic. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much. It's an incredible honor to have you on the show. A fellow coach like myself, a fellow speaker, but above all, an everyday woman just like me, single mom. We've done this whole shebang, and so I want you, if you can, share a little bit about your background. What makes you qualify as an everyday woman? Because I want people to understand that to be an everyday woman, it's a certification in itself. It's a quality in itself. It's a qualification in itself. So if you can answer that question, that would be fantastic.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm so honored to be here.
Thank you.
When you said, hey, come on, you're an everyday woman, I got all giddy because, you and I, we talk back and forth. I mean, all the time. And it's just wonderful because you're right. We're taking care of animals and kids and what you have to do every single day. You got to mow the lawn. You have to, clean the dishes. You have to do the laundry. Like it's not that we're above anybody else. We're here to help, and we're here to help and really impact the world and make it a better place. So, I love that, when a friend coined me the human potential specialist, because everybody, like you said, everybody is special. Everyone has a genuine quality and gift from the spirit inside of them that needs to come out. Yeah. And some are living it and some are not. And, I love to help people find that, because we either feed what we want or we feed what is easy.
Yes, I like that. I love that. I love that. I love that. Did you hear that? We either feed what we need to feed or we feed what is easy. Now, the question I asked you at the beginning, and I'm asking you again, lovely women, wherever you are around the world, watching right now, whether you watch on the replay later on tonight, tomorrow, next year, whenever you watch this episode, I'm asking you that question again. What are you feeding? Are you afraid of fear? The reason why I'm asking you this question is because fear keeps all of us bound. If you like, it could be fear of failure. It could even be fear of success. It could be fear of shame. It could be fear about what people feel that, what people will say, if they know the true you, the real you, if they know what all the rubbish that's going on in your life, if they know what's beyond, the lipstick and the lashes and all that, the real you, fear of people knowing who you really are, fear of being authentic. It could be imposter, it could be a whole range of things. But one thing that fear does is that it keeps you bound. It makes you not able to move forward. It keeps you unable to impact who you need to impact. It could be your children, it could be your husband, it could be your school, you could be a teacher, you could be a cleaner, you could be a hairdresser, a dustwoman. It doesn't matter what you are, but you have been chosen for such a time as this to impact your world. You may not have a global stage, but that doesn't matter, because it's one step at a time. We impact, we uncover potential one person at a time. We start with ourselves. We start with our children if we have children, but it's one, or it could be people you work with. It could be your next door neighbor. While we were in the green room, Alison was telling me about, two amazing, old people from the older generation that she ministers to. So everything that we do counts. And I want to talk a little bit about fear, because I know this is something that you're very passionate about as well, Alison.
Yes, it comes up a lot, and we have these limiting beliefs. We have to overcome the challenges of them. We have to crush them. They start when you're in the first 10 years of your life. And, it's not for good or bad, but we hear, money doesn't grow on trees, just get an education, get a job, but they don't help you with what it is that's in your heart. They don't help you with really understanding where it is you need to go to feel empowered to make the right decisions for yourself, right? I was there. I was the oldest of 4. I was dressed in little frilly dresses. I wanted to climb a tree. If I climbed a tree, I'd be dead right now, because I would have gotten my little dress all dirty. Like, there was no way. Right? We grew up doing what we were told to do, wearing what we were told, stand up straight, smile, don't talk unless you're spoken to.
Absolutely.
I wasn't having an opinion. And that in itself starts to breed some fear, because when I got into the working world and I was shipped off to Toronto when I was 18 years old,
wow.
I didn't speak up for myself. I didn't even know how to do that. Right. So I was I remember standing on the corner at Yonge and Dundas, and, I was in a short fur coat because I live in Northern Ontario, which was freezing, and just looking around at the lights, and people were honking and waving, and I'm waving back going, this is the friendliest city ever. And the police pulled over and said, young lady, like, who are you and why are you here? And I'm like, this is nice. I love it here. And I had a whole schooling from 2 police officers to say, they're not just waving because they're waving to say hi. They want something from you. And I had no clue. Right.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden,
you're wearing a fur coat. Yes, absolutely.
I'm looking good. I'm skinny.
Oh my days. Oh my
I'm
days.
happy and smiling. And then it brought on another fear, right? It's like, well, now, oh my gosh, I'm in a big city, just head down, don't smile, get to where you're going to and get home again. And all of that kind of keeps breeding. And we have to kind of break through those beliefs, because on the other side, it won't seem as difficult because the beliefs are up here, right?
Yes.
The fear is up here.
Yes.
It's not in what you do.
Yes.
And it's not always easy, but
Yeah.
I'm saying once you go through it, once you build a resiliency, once you understand you can be fearless and unstoppable, then it just is amazing.
I like that. Once you realize you can be fearless and unstoppable, once you realize that you can be fearless and unstoppable, and I'll say it for the 3rd time, I think there's a scripture that says that, faith comes through hearing and hearing and hearing and hearing and hearing. You can hear a message 10,000 times and still not get it. So I'm saying, once you're able to understand that you can be fearless, I can be fearless, Alison can be fearless, we as women, we can be fearless as a collective, we become unstoppable. Oh, thank you so much for that. I'm going to steal that.
Anyone can, please do.
I'm going to steal that. So I want to kind of, really drill down on this thing called fear, because I remember in 2017, 18, I went with a group of 14 women. We went to Malawi on a female entrepreneur expedition. We were going to Malawi to sort of, work in orphanages, do stuff with HIV. And I saw your pinky there. Do things with help women go to orphanages and do all sorts of amazing things. And there was a little bit of a savior mentality when we went, but when we got there, what we got back is that we felt as if we were saved. It was so rich. We got so much
Nice.
learning. I grew, so much exponentially. I went into the village, and bearing in mind I'm a black woman and I'm African, but I was not actually aware of that kind of life because I'd never lived it. And so I remember we were paired up into twos, and my lovely friend, she will hear this, Beverly, white lady, we were, together, stayed in the village. She was better than me. She could do the firewood, she could do everything. I'm like, oh, spiders, all this. I was always, all drama queen and all that. So I learned so much, learned a lot about, the idea of being African, but also how people around the world can use so little to do so much. And just the idea of gratitude. And so all that was all going on. And we're like, oh, yeah, yeah, we've learned. And then the final thing we were doing was that we were going to climb Mount Malunji. Mount Malunji is supposed to be the highest mountain in Malawi. Now, I have never hiked in my life. Never. I don't remember when I was supposed to be coming to Canada a few years back, and you were telling me we were going to. I'm like, no, 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 no. I don't do it. I don't do hiking. I'm a hotel kind of glam girl sort of. But I remember before we went to Malawi, I did a what do we call it? GoFundMe page, and said, look, I was, collecting money, for the orphanages and all that, and I'm going to climb Mount Malunji and all that. And people really, put their coin down for me to do this. And I was really looking forward to it, but I've never done it before. The highest I've done was, I've got a hill not too far from me. So I walk up the hill as part of my exercise. And I was like, hi, this is Zena speaking. I'm walking up here, but I'd never done hiking before. Anyway, we've done all the fun stuff, radio station, looking after, orphans, working with the women in the business, in the village, having village banks and all the great stuff. And that was all amazing. We learned so much. But then we were taken to the mountain the night before for us to, so we watched it in sunset to see how it would look like. And we were told that we would wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning because we needed to get halfway before the sun hit. And our tour guides are not like tour guides that we are used to. They had no shoes or anything like that, but they do all the time. They had all the food and everything. And I saw the mountain in sunset, and I had a panic attack. I've never had a panic attack in my life. I burst into tears. Now we were 15 of us. I was the only black person, and I was crying. They're like, Zena, what's wrong? I'm like, what possessed me? What? And then I remembered, so I had, all of us, I had fear. Then I remember that so many people had invested their coin in me to get up that mountain. Anyway, so we started the next morning. We were going up. I was at the end. I was the last person. And Beverly was with me. She was saying, look, Zena, we can do this. You can do this. And I was crying. And I'm looking back. I'm like, if I die here, no one's going to see my bones. No one's going to see any. What possessed me? But I kept on going. I had the best gear on because I like fashion, but people were jumping up and down. I managed to get to the top. I got to the top, so I'm so grateful to God. I did it, and I came back down the next morning. But what I had to do is I had to banish fear. In fact, they got to a stage where the tour guide, they had like 4, 2 at the front, 6, 2 at the front, 2 in the middle with all the food, and 2 at the back. And the people at the back said to me, oh, ma'am, are you sure you can make it? We can take you back down. And I'm like, so how many hours will it take us to get back down? They said like 4. And how many hours have we got to get back at the top? Maybe about 5. I'm like, no, we need to keep going. And we did, and I got it. I was the last person up, but I made it. So fear does have a way of crippling you. And I was crippled. But when I remembered people's lives was riding on it, I got up that mountain. So fear is a real and present danger. It really is. You can be scared of what people feel about you and stuff like that. But I'm going to go back to you, Alison, because I know this is your specialty.
And I love that example because that's really the first biggest fear is extinction, right? Whether it's climbing the mountain, whether it's getting on stage, whether, we say it so easily, like, oh my God, I'm going to die, right? And it's like, well, wait a minute, words have power and you're not going to die because we've all managed to get through it.
Yes,
And there's other people who have done it, so we can model them.
yes,
But it is just a physiological change within us where the cortisol levels increase, right? Your blood pressure increases. Like, yeah, the panic attack comes on because now your internal body is trying to realize something in your mind that says, but it's not here. So it doesn't know what to do with it. So you'll get anxiety, you'll get panic attacks, you'll get all sorts of stuff. And it could be from climbing a mountain, could be from doing an exam, could be from, right? It could be just, I have to go for a job interview. Well, what if they don't like me? Am I wearing the right things? You change 6 times. And it's like,
yes. And then end up being late.
Yeah. So, you build up to this huge thing that I'm going to die, right? And then it plays such a weird role in your emotions and your physiology. So it's something that we have to look at, and we have to really look at the words we use too around the fears that we have. So that's a biggie.
I like that because I never thought of it like that. Fear of extinction. Fear of extinction. I don't know what I did then. I almost extinguished you there, but
You don't get that.
fear of extinction, fear of getting it wrong, fear of failure. I mean, I love fear of extinction. That is a good one because we don't want to disappear. We don't want to be seen as less than. We don't want to be seen as, if we're extinct, let it be on our own terms, not because of something that we've done. That's a very good one, Alison. Fear of extinction. How does that normally present? I like that.
Well, it'll present when it is such a big fear in our minds that the only thing that could happen is nothing. Like we'll just evaporate, right? So if I get on, like a lot of people say, I can't talk on stage. You get on stage and you can talk about anything. I'm like, well, I talk about what I know. So if you know it well enough, whether it's 10 minutes or 30 minutes, you can get on any stage and talk about it. And they're like, oh, I said, you just have to be an expert in where you're at.
That's right.
And the one person told me once, he said, because I got off stage and went, oh my gosh, I forgot to say this and I forgot to say that. And he said, they don't know you forgot. Right? They're not in your head. They can't be there all the time trying to figure out what's going on. They're never there. So he's like, just now you have something to email them or text them or put in a couple of emails to say, hey, what about this and what about that? So it was like, oh, okay. Because I was still finding pressure where there is no pressure to be had. Right. And we put that on ourselves.
We do. That is a very good one. It's funny you should say that. The other day, I was at an event and someone said to me, and I think that they were running out of time. I had half an hour, and they said, "Oh, you just have 12 minutes or something." I can't remember what they said. I'm like, "Oh, not a problem." And so I, just spoke, like you do. And then a couple of people came to me afterwards and said, "Oh, how did you do that?" I said, "How did I do what?" You didn't have any slides. You didn't have anything. You just spoke, and you were just getting started. I said, well, you have to always have something ready to say in an hour, in half an hour, in 10 minutes, in 5 minutes, because you never know.
Sure.
And, it's good to have slides. I like my slides, but I think you're actually better unscripted. And that's why I do these shows unscripted now. I don't have any script. I just know the theme and we talk around the theme because it makes it more authentic. Other things that you don't even remember come out to the fore, like you talked about fear of extinction, and it just becomes amazing. Magic is formed, and I think we need, as women in particular, to give ourselves grace because we know stuff. You don't need to be an expert as a doctor or a nurse or anything like that unless you are that. But if you're a homemaker and you know how to bake cookies, and you know how to bake them in such a way that when you break them in half, they melt in your mouth. Unlike some of us that when we make them, they pull out your teeth. if you know how to make
Yeah.
soft and fluffy, you know how to make pancakes, or you know how to clean the house, or you know how to sew, or you know how to comfort people or encourage people, you know how to break down barriers, you know how to just say one thing and someone will tell you her whole history. You just talk to someone on the bus or on a train or on an aeroplane, she bursts into tears or he bursts into tears and start telling you. That is a gift. And you can speak about that. You can see, people say, oh, I don't like going to places where I don't know anyone. But trust me, when you do, the magic happens. You just have to trust yourself and trust the process and believe that you are more powerful than you give yourself credit for. One thing I know, God does not make mistakes. When he made you, Alison, when he made me, when he made everyone else, he didn't make you by mistake. You're not here by happen chance. You're not a coincidence. Even the things that might be happening in your life right now or may have happened in the past or are going to happen in the future, it's not a coincidence. It's for a purpose. And so it's really important that you don't allow fear, especially that fear of supposing it happens. That fear, someone says that fear is, what's that acronym? False evidence appearing real. So FEAR, false evidence appearing real. No, 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 no. Back to you, Alison. Back to you.
Just here. It's just here. And we can think ourselves into oblivion, into pain, into sickness. Like if they did a study once and a gentleman was looking at his ankle and he says, no, it feels good. And the doctor's like, well, it can't feel good because, look at this and look at that. And it's swollen and it's purple. And all of a sudden, because he's been told it can't feel good, he can't walk on it. He can't put any pressure on it.
Yes,
Oh my God, it is sore. I need a Tylenol.
yes,
You can think yourself into something, but you
yes,
can also think yourself into something great.
yes, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
know, it's just, when you look at fears, there's also the loss of autonomy, right? The abuse, the imprisonment, feeling restricted and overwhelmed. And you get to the point, if you're in those type of relationships, or I spoke to a young lady yesterday being with a narcissist, right? It's hard because they want everything to be about themselves.
Yes.
So it may not be a physical abuse, but maybe it's a mental one or psychological one, or, time restricted imprisonment. I need you home at 5:00. Why are you? You're a minute late. Where were you?
Where were you?
It's that fear now that's on top. Oh my gosh, I have to get home at 5:00. I don't want to upset them.
Upset, yes.
Right? Instead of just having a wonderful, loving relationship. So when it's getting past that and recognizing it, and the loss of safety and security,
Yes.
right? And like you said, travel on your own. I had a hard time doing that before, because when I traveled with business for 20 years, I always had a sidekick with me. There was another salesperson or a marketing person or a tech person. So I was never alone, technically.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I went to Scotland and I had a couple of days where I had to do stuff and get out of my comfort zone and go talk to people and eat at restaurants and,
Yes.
and it was a big step. But then once you do, like you say, the magic happens and people, I overheard you don't have an accent. So where are you from, kind of thing. So, it does play a wonderful part. And then the other two is fear of separation, abandonment, and rejection. So as business women, of course, you're trying to get clients, you're trying to look out there for partnerships. You don't want someone to tell you no, because it's like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Well, a no is never about you in business, right? A no is because they're not ready, they're not in play, they have something else they have to do, they have priorities that aren't you right now.
Yes.
Right? So it's like, okay, get some more no's so you can be okay with it. And then the biggest one, especially for women, is worthiness or worthlessness and shame. Right? Am I worthy to be on the stage? Like you said, if you make cookies better than I do, hey, this is amazing, right? If you actually figured out how to do that with children in a wonderful way that the kitchen didn't look like a bomb went off, fantastic, write a book. right? You have all those gifts that are given to you from God that you really need to dive into. And sometimes we don't do that too, right? Because, oh my gosh, I can't do that because I've got this education. I worked hard to get to where I am. So I'm just going to work another 10 years until I get my pension. Well, in 10 years, if you get cancer the year after you retire and you've done nothing to feel how you should live from your soul, do what your God-given gifts are, right? We take timing out for everything else and everyone else and forget to sit in quiet solitude sometimes and say, okay, Lord, what is it that you want me to do? Right? Eliminate what, like, and I said it the other day, Lord, just eliminate the people, places, and things you don't want in my life so I can live my purpose for you.
I like that, because in as sad as it is, cancer or any other kind of terminal disease can be anybody. It could be it could be any of us. It could be anyone, and we've all got family members and friends that have gone before us. But the thing to remember is that tomorrow is not guaranteed. I'd love to be here tomorrow, and I hope I'm here tomorrow. But if for some reason I'm not here tomorrow, remember I said it, tomorrow's not guaranteed. And so that's why it's important, really incredibly important, to put your best foot forward. It might not be it might not be perfect, we're not talking about put your perfect foot forward. We're saying put your best foot. So put that foot in front of the other, whatever that might be. There's something you said at the beginning when you were talking about being an everyday woman. So, you could be a woman, you've got all these credentials, or you have no credentials. It doesn't matter. And you're thinking that, well, I've worked for, 30 years. What else can I do? A whole lot. If you're in a job for 30 years, it means they kept you because you were valuable.
Yes.
Contrary to what you might be thinking, oh, they just kept me because they don't have anybody else. No, they kept you because you were valuable to them. They pay you because you're valuable. Whether you're, the janitor, whether you're the secretary, whether you're the data analyst, whether you're the, the admin clerk, whether you're the person that does the files, whether you do, the invoices and the ticketing, the travel, whatever it is that you do in that place of work, you've been kept there because you're valuable. So say, for instance, maybe there's a restructure or something, and they've had 3 restructures in your organization, you're still there. Oh, I remember when all the other people I used to work with, they've all left, but you're still there. You're there not because they don't want you, it's because they need you. And I need you to remember that. And perhaps you're at home with your children and they're not talking to you. I've had that loads of times where sometimes my daughters don't talk to me. And it is, it is quite painful as a mom. But if you're in that position, I want you to understand that you are still relevant to those children. You are still valuable. When they need you, they will come back. They always do. Mom, can you pray for me? I'm like, oh. Mom, can you and all that. But why am I saying this? I don't know who I'm speaking to right now. But I want you to know that nothing makes you irrelevant. You're not irrelevant. You're not surplus to requirements in the world in which you live in. Don't allow fear of extinction. Thank you so much, Alison, for that. Don't allow fear of rejection. Perhaps you're a woman in business starting off, or you've been in business for a long time, and you're reducing your prices because you're thinking of your bills. Oh my days. And so you're undervaluing your worth because you're fearful of rejection. If I, do it at a particular cost, which is what it's worth, I might not have the right clients. Maybe that might be you. This might be speaking to you somewhere. Or perhaps, you don't want to speak up at work. There's something not going quite right. And you've got a fantastic suggestion that can move your organization or your department forward, but you're scared to speak up, fearful being laughed at, or fear that your boss may not take that idea. Speak up. Don't allow fear to cripple you. And I'm going back to Alison, because Alison, I want you to tell me a little bit about what you do in this space, because I know you do a lot, working with women in particularly to get them out of that space of fear, especially because you've been fearful. So you know exactly what it feels like. You know how it presents. You know all the different ramifications, how it likes to hide, how it like sometimes fear tries to legitimate little. To legitimate it.
Yes.
That word in you. Yes.
It does. And you're right. Fear does try to legitimize what's going on, right? And it's, that overwhelming power sometimes to say, oh, maybe I shouldn't.
Mm.
Right. And for me, I think God's over here going, well, I gave you that opportunity. And then you have the devil going, oh, yeah, but you're going to blow it up.
Yes,
right.
yes,
And
yes.
that teeter totter of should I or shouldn't I?
Last time, yes.
Right. And I've been through that a lot. Right. I was, literally sent away at 18. I'm trying to navigate in a big city. Of course, I had a couple of absolutely atrocious relationships that were brutal and abusive, but, and I have my sister is 8 years younger. And I remember her telling me, oh, I learned all the things what not to do by following you.
Wow.
Like,
Wow.
okay, well, good. But, at that stage, I was still, scared of getting into another relationship, scared of having a business.
That's another one.
Right. Oh, absolutely. There is so much fear that can come out. Should I have a child? Should I not? Should I move countries? Should I not? Should I move jobs? Because I don't like the one I have, but I know it. Right. And
It's comfortable. It's comfortable. It's safe.
It is. So once you get out of that and you can move into something, and I help women and some men right now do that, right? It's like, let's look at the limiting beliefs of what's really getting in at you, and let's do like a pros and cons list. So if you left your job, which is maybe comfortable but not paying you enough because you've been there forever, so you only get incremental increases. Well, what if you jumped over here for an extra $5,000 or $10,000? Well, I have more responsibility. Yes, you do. But what if you take that on and you love it?
Yes.
Right? Are you happy over here, mundane, day to day, Monday to Friday? Or do you want to come over here and have a little more excitement, learn some new things, be with some new fresh faces, get some more experience, figure out what other opportunities lies in front of you by just stepping from A to B, right? And sometimes we're over in A and it's like, well, I can't leave because I've been with my boss for too long. And well, if I leave, my entire little group that we have, 10 a.m. coffee with is going to be mad. And you're right. You get into the easy of it. And then everyone has a say in what you do.
Except for you.
It's just here. Yeah. So you're taking on all that to justify why you don't take the leap, why you don't start a side hustle, right? Why you don't travel this year. Well, it's too expensive. Still going to be expensive next year, if not more. So
Absolutely.
take the leap.
Take the leap.
Believe in yourself. Believe you have the power and the wherewithal to be smart enough and knowledgeable to go, okay, I don't know everything. So I'm here and I'm willing and I'm ready to go. And I love, to learn. Like when I took over at a nonprofit in a chocolate company, I went in and they said, oh, you're coming to change everything. I said, my job as the CEO and the executive director is to basically make sure you have everything you need to have a great experience working here.
Yes, yes.
And they all just kind of looked at me and went, oh. I said, you're already here. So let's learn each other. I can help you with some things. You can help me understand what it is you do and how we can all do it better. Right?
I like that.
It's collaboration over competition. It is,
fear of change. Fear of change. Yeah, I like that.
So I'm not here to just blow everything up and change everything from apples to oranges. I'm here to help you, figure out how we can do this better, get resources faster, get more people in the door, more sales. Like, what is it that we need to do as a group? And I do it with them. Right.
I like that because, fear presents itself in so many spaces in our life, so many spaces, fear of change. Well, like what we say in the UK, well, if it ain't broke, why fix it? So why are you fixing something that's not broken? We've always done it like that. We've always done it like that. You'll always get what you've always gotten. Change is good, but you're like fear of change. That's a good one. Fear of change, and then fear of upsetting your network. Like you said, you're seeking validation from your friends, your family, the people that you've known for years. Shall I do this? Shall I do that? The people you're seeking validation from are not doing that. They've never done that. So, they're never ever going to do that in a million years. And so they're not the right people to actually ask for their opinions or for validation in the first place. It's like, asking an aeroplane, asking a dog. Look, an aeroplane asking a dog, look, I want to fly over the Atlantic. And a dog will like, why would you do that? You shouldn't do that. That's dangerous. Well, a dog's never flown, but if you ask another jet, a fighter jet, I want to fly. Oh yeah, let's do it. And, so you've always got to make sure that you're in the right spaces. And if you're not in the right spaces, you can move. But well, put it this way, even when you're looking for validation, because we all like to be validated every now and again, make sure it's the right network or the right people or the right family members, don't allow rejection and negativity. Negativity is a big one, because when people don't understand what you're doing or why you're doing it, or even if you don't understand what's happening, you use negativity to shoot it down. It's never going to work. It hasn't worked in the past. And so you're scared to actually set your anchor afloat, set your boat afloat, or set your dinghy afloat so that you can see how far you can swim.
Absolutely.
Fear.
Well, I love how you say, you're talking to the wrong people. And what came to mind is like finances. Like if you want to invest some money, you don't ask, your Uncle Paul, who has absolutely, no financial astuteness whatsoever. You go to someone who has investments, understands how to do that, how to send you in the right, avenue so you don't lose money.
Yeah.
And it's the same in business. You're right. You go and you say, hey, I'm starting a side hustle, or I'm going to do this business. And they can even come back to you with quotes on, 8%, only get by. And in 2 years, you're going to go belly up and it's going to cost you a fortune. Why would you put that stress on your family? Like, even I've heard those. So it's stepping back, and I help you find what your soul expression is through a soulful living blueprint. Because if you are on fire, I know you're on fire, right? The women we talk to are on fire because we're listening to our soul. We're doing what is intended by God. We are, shown through spirit how it is we can help transform people. And I help people find that, right? Find what it is you want to do. What is your why in life? And usually they start out angry, right? What's your why, right? Because mine was freedom. I want freedom. I don't want to be told what to do. I want to make as much money as I want to make. Like, it came from a place of anger, which is a place of motivation. But then it's sitting down, and after drilling down, it's like, I want to help people find their God-given destiny to be able to live in freedom as I do. Right. So it comes from a place of love and a place of caring and really looking for someone to say, look, you are an amazing soul with a genius inside of you that just needs to escape. Let's go because you can live joy and bliss and peace.
I like that.
Let it out.
I like that. Spread out.
Let it out. Right. Get rid of the fear.
Enlarge your territory. I think it's who is it? Oh God, not Darling Zek. I see increase all around me. I forgot. I can't sing. The song's gone. But it's about being able to break out, not allowing fear. Like the slogan, do it afraid anyway. So even if you are afraid, do it. Set fear on its head. Even if you're afraid, do it anyway, wherever that might be. It might be just, having a shower. Perhaps, you're in a state of flux where you've been in bed, you're sad, you're crying, you're depressed. And it just might be just taking that one step towards the shower and getting a bar of soap and having a shower and washing your hair. And it's not that, oh, if I do that, I might fall in the bath. I might this. Oh, no, you're taking that step. You're not allowing fear to keep you bound. Oh, what he said about me, what she said about me is true. No. Take that step. That step will mean different things to all of us. For some people, it might be a massive step. For some of us, it might be a little step. It might be, for some of us, it might be calling your bank manager and saying, oh, I know I came last year and I asked you for £1 million. Okay, can you give me 2 million? It could be that, or it could be, I want to set up an orphanage. I've been thinking about this. and you start talking to developers. You might not know where to start, but at least start to have those conversations. Or it might just be that I want to leave my marriage. And I don't know why I'm saying that. I don't know who I'm speaking to, Holy Spirit. And you're thinking, I don't know how to do that. People are going to laugh at me. People are going to say I'm a brazen woman. I don't know. Whatever it is, take the first step. You don't have to take a leap. Take the first step.
I
You know
agree.
what? Yeah, I'm going to let you round up.
I know things are flooding back because I
Yes.
was in marriage for about 8 years. I was not happy, but I was never leaving because, my mother always said, your aunts and cousins down in Michigan, this is what's happening, don't ever do that. And I'm like, okay, right? So again, that was a limiting belief that was stopping.
God hates divorce. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, those type of things that'll come up all the time. Talk to someone in your church, a friend. You definitely have to get it out. And I love it because it could be as simple as, you're right, taking a shower and just feeling clean again and going, okay, I'm okay, to, oh my gosh, I have to expand my business. This is going to be huge. Talk to the people who have already done it. And fear is just a limiting belief. And it's a fear. It sits between your ears, and it can make you or break you. And I'm here to say that we believe in you. We love you. And there's more people out there who probably believe in you than you will ever know. So the one thing I'd love you to do is go ask 3 people why they like you. And you will be amazed at what they tell you.
Right.
And know that the fear is only something that the devil's trying to stop you from doing something that's coming up that's amazing, and an opportunity that's going to expand your world for the better.
I like that.
Please grab on and enjoy the ride.
I like that. Speak to 3 people. 3 people. Do it today. Do it fear. You do it afraid. Ask them. Don't worry about what they say. Ask them why. Give them the script. Why do they like you? Don't ask them what do you like. Don't ask them what they like. But don't ask them what do you know about me. Ask them why do they like you, and they will tell you. They will tell you. Last but not least, how can people find you, Alison?
You can find me on my website at soulexpressionsessions.com. You can book a free session with me for half an hour to go over anything that you want to talk about, from limiting beliefs to fear. And that is at yourfreesoulsession.com. And on Facebook, I also have a group called the Soulful Living Blueprint that anyone can join.
Fantastic. I love it. What I'll do is I'll make sure that on YouTube, I'll pull it in the caption so that people can find you there as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's so generous of you. You've heard it from Alison. You can find her on Facebook. You can find her on Instagram. She's giving you her website. Can you say that again, please, so that they can take it down?
It is soulexpressionsessions.com or AlisonMcLeod.com. Both will get you there.
Fantastic. Oh, Alison, every time I speak to you, I just don't want to stop. It's always great speaking to you. At the beginning of the show, you might have been wondering, how did these 2 people meet? We met years ago, long before the pandemic, and we met because we both loved Gibbs. Now, if you don't know Gibbs, those that know, they know. Those that know, we both loved Gibbs. Gibbs. Those that know. I was about to kill her. I'm like, get out my way. Gibbs is mine. Friend of mine that was a TV, But anyway, so if you know Gibbs, you will know who we're talking about. I mean, he's really old now, and I think that there are other people that have taken, but it's NCIS.
Yes.
We had a crush on Gibbs. Oh my days. And we used to, we would talk on Messenger for hours, just talking about Gibbs. And then we would pray.
Yes. We'll get back to real life.
The life of single moms. But anyway, thank you so much, Alison. It's been a blast. And like she said, you have to take advantage of it. Half an hour to talk about whatever it is that you'd like to speak about. And I can assure you that you will come out much better with more clarity, more focus, and at least some actionable steps that can take you into what is really your soul expression. Thank you so much, Alison. Thank you.
Thank you. Very blessed.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening to another edition of A Cup of Tea with me, Dr. Z, and my amazing guest today, Alison McLeod, all the way from Ontario, Canada. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my, this was just amazing.
Thanks for listening to A Cup of Tea with Dr. Z, your reinvention queen. We hope you've been motivated and inspired to go out there and conquer any obstacles and issues you may face. You can find Dr. Zena on all social platforms. Until next time, remember, you're not alone.